Good morning, Meteorologist Mike Linden here. It is Wednesday, March 17th. We are going to jump right into it. Remember, you can follow us across all of our social media channels. We will put them on screen in a moment. Today is the first day since March 2nd, 2012 that the Storm Prediction Center has issued a high risk for severe weather. Remember, that is the first time in over 9 years for the month of March that the SPC has issued this type of risk, a 5 out of 5. This is as high as the scale goes. Let's take this graphic in full here, Damien, and let's break it down. It is that pinkish kind of magenta color there. Think of it like the bullseye. Now, it doesn't mean that for the areas outside of that they may not see the severe weather, but this is the area in which the Storm Prediction Center is really honing in on to perhaps see the worst of the worst out there today. Notice the tornado, large hail, high wind. It's quite high there. And in fact, it says large hail up to 1 inch. We may very well see hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter. In terms of the tornadoes, we're not talking just one tornado here, folks. There is the possibility for let alone multiple tornadoes, but multiple violent tornadoes. And when you hear that kind of wording from the Storm Prediction Center, the word violent is referring to storms or tornadoes rather that are of EF3 or greater. That is, of course, on the enhanced Fujita scale there, and that would mean winds above 136 miles per hour. That could potentially cause some major damage. Now, we're looking here at this graphic. Notice how many people are at risk for severe weather. I mean, that box is as full as it's ever been. 1 million people at high risk, 7 million at a moderate risk, that is that red color there. 9 million at an enhanced risk, that is that orange color. Slight risk, 11 million, that is the yellow color, and then that dark green color underneath, that is 20 million people. So we are talking upwards of, in this area just to the east of Tyler there, that tornado warning has since expired, but just goes to show you, I mean, it's not even 9 o'clock here, Eastern Daylight Time here, and here we are talking about tornadoes. It's wild stuff here, folks. Let's jump back, Damien, to the weather graphics here that I have prepared. Again, for the people that are just joining us, high risk, 5 out of 5. That is the top of the scale. It literally cannot go any higher from the Storm Prediction Center. High risk for that pink color. That encompasses central Mississippi. And we are talking specifically, let me pull up the cities here from the SPC so I can give them to you exactly. In that high risk, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Hoover, Alabama, and Meridian, Mississippi. For the moderate risk area, Memphis, Tennessee, Montgomery, Alabama, Little Rock, Arkansas, North Little Rock, Arkansas, and Jonesboro, Arkansas. Again, the high-risk cities today, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Hoover, Alabama, and Meridian, Mississippi. Those are the cities that are at highest risk today. That is that pink color there. We will likely see those storms work their way into that neck of the woods as we head into about 1 o'clock or so. That's when things will really begin to ramp up in intensity here. So let me jump back over here to the weather graphics, and we will take a look here at our live streaming radar. So let me clear off the radar for you here. I hope those of you that are joining us are doing well this morning, as well as you can be. And again, here's a look at everything that is going on. It's still kind of coming together for us here, but anywhere where you're seeing a yellow box, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. Likely going to see those continuing to blow up as we head into the afternoon. Okay, so let's take a look here at the tropical infrared imagery. It looks like my graphics are coming in kind of choppy here. We'll have to revisit that here in the next stream. But you can see the tropical infrared imagery there showing those storms really blowing up over the western Tennessee area. But again, let's jump over to this Damien, we'll have to look into why that is choppy like that. But again, high risk for the areas there highlighted in pink. And when we say high risk, we are talking about several violent tornadoes are possible. I mean, let me just get the wording from the Storm Prediction Center, because it will really grab your attention here. A significant tornado outbreak with long track intense tornadoes is expected to begin this afternoon across parts of Louisiana and Arkansas, and then spread eastward and peak this evening into tonight across Mississippi and Alabama. That is the wording from the Storm Prediction Center. That is definitely jarring. Definitely something to grab your attention. And in fact, it goes on to say that the environment supports multiple rounds of supercell thunderstorms through the afternoon into the evening hours. Okay, I just want to be sure that everything looks okay on our chat. I've got the chat here pulled up here next to me. If you guys have any questions for me, it looks like everything is coming through smoothly on Facebook. That's where I'm watching, as well as on YouTube. I'm seeing some comments, people saying that it's coming in a little choppy. It might just be the weather graphics there particularly. That's something that we're going to have to revisit there. If you have a question for me, get it in the chat here, and I will try to answer it here over the next minute or so. It's going to be a very active day for us, obviously, here at MyRadar, and especially so for the folks that live along the Gulf Coast there. Damien, let's take the app. Let's take the app in full, and we'll have to revisit the choppy weather graphics there. But we'll take the app, and we can talk some more. Again, this is that line, and you can see that it kind of the low originates. In fact, I can turn on the fronts there, and we'll be able to see that low. So there's that low kind of off near Lawton. So that will catch up here on the map here. But that front continuing to push eastward, and with it going to bring, again, the possibility for some really nasty weather. In fact, if we go to the weather outlooks here, I can turn on the storm outlook, and you can overlay the Storm Prediction Center graphic for yourself. And see that little crosshair? Notice in the top right, that will show you exactly kind of what you are highlighted over. So there's that high risk. And we can see the communities that are at highest risk today. Again, Meridian, Jackson, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. These are the areas right here in this pink polygon there that are of highest risk today. Then you have the moderate risk just outside it. That covers Pine Bluff, Monroe, Alexandria, Hattiesburg, Montgomery, Gadsden. And then we continue to zoom out. I mean, this is a big, big, big chunk of real estate, folks, that are under a severe weather risk today. But this polygon right here, this pink one, this is where we will be paying super duper close attention to. We had some folks yesterday that were asking us if this matches up to April 2011. Of course, that was the super outbreak of tornadoes across the southern coastline. Now, I will say that every weather event is different. It's like a snowflake, right? I mean, it's all going to be unique in and of itself. But in terms of the environmental conditions that are present, it's not the same. It's the same kind of geographical area. That's similar there. But in terms of how we will see this play out today, it should be rather interesting. The shear for this particular environment, of course, we're talking about winds kind of going in opposite directions. That's what you need in order to get that spin in the upper portions of the atmosphere to eventually lead to a tornado touching down. The shear it's out there today, and the environment is ripe, I should say the least. In terms of the energy coming off of the Gulf of Mexico, CAPE is what we call that, convective available potential energy. It's not as off the charts as 2011 was. Of course, it's mid-March. You're not going to see those numbers as high as it can get as we get into severe weather season. But nonetheless, it's kind of checking all the boxes. We have significant amounts of shear in the environment. We have the front coming in from the west. We have the moisture coming in off of the Gulf of Mexico. The environment will be rather unstable as we head into the afternoon today. Really kind of exactly what these storms want to encounter in terms of being able to just stretch out, grow, and get nice and strong. One thing I will say here to watch out for, and Damien, if you want to take the graph or the the app again here. So I want you to pay close attention to as we get into the afternoon today. Notice this line of storms here. Of course, that's the front. That is very indicative of strong to potentially severe thunderstorms, strong, potentially damaging winds too. But something to pay super close attention to today are those storms that are off on their own. I'm not necessarily talking about these little guys here, but kind of out ahead of this line. As we get into the afternoon today, if you see any thunderstorms that are going rogue, for lack of a better term there, that are away from the main line, that are away from the bulk of the storms, those are the ones to watch out for, because these severe thunderstorms are selfish. And what I mean by that is that they don't want to share their energy with any of the other storms that are around them. They prefer to kind of be out on their own. That's how they can really grow. That's when you see that V, of course, that hook echo radar signature that is you have to see in order for a tornado or a storm that could potentially birth a tornado there. You're going to see that V notch and then that hook coming off of the back of it. That's where you're going to find that tornado. But you're going to want to see those storms off by themselves. That is so key on a day like today, and those are going to be the storms to watch out for as we head into the afternoon. That doesn't mean ignore the main line. That main frontal line there is going to be a doozy, bringing with it some very strong winds, nasty stuff. But it's going to be those little guys, those little storms that are by themselves, that can just, it's like when you wake up in the morning and just want to get a nice stretch. This is what those storms are going to try to do today in this atmosphere, in this environment that it loves. It is primed and ready for it to be able to stretch out, and it's a good example in the sense where it will stretch, get nice and tall, and of course that's how you get these incredibly significant thunderstorms that could eventually produce a violent tornado. Okay. So, I think that's probably going to be it for our chat this morning. This will not be the first one, folks. We will be going live as we head into the afternoon today. Again, just as a reminder, Damien, let's take these this outlook graphic one more time here before I say goodbye. High risk in effect today for that pink color there. That is for Mississippi, Alabama, and a portion of Louisiana there, and just a little bit of Arkansas there in the southeastern corner. Again, the cities that are under that high risk: Birmingham, Alabama,